Justice not without their own struggles. Corey was a bright spot for them, but I think a lot of people expected the cornerstone of this team to be Janice or Giannis, depending however you want to say it. Got brought over by the ex-NYXL coach and Wizard, and we thought that was the cornerstone. That's what they're going to build around, and it seems to be that's their identity. They've got to find that identity and build around that going forward.
They need to figure out how to have an impact here. They are the Washington Justice after all. How do you bring the justice if you can't bring the pain, Hex? That is the question that they are trying to find the answer to now. So Janice is here. We'll see how he performs, but their opponents today will be none other than the London Spitfire. And as far as the London Spitfire are concerned, we harped on a little bit about it at the beginning of this lead-in, but they need to step up. They need to figure out how to get some effective play going in this new meta.
It's a similar story to last year, where the most consistent and effective player on the squad has still been Prophet. Prophet did it last year on several different damage-dealing heroes. This year, he's got one of the best Brigidas in the league. He's up there when it comes down to final blows, so he's bringing that DPS spin onto a Brigida. However, he's still doing a ton of healing on Brigida, so he's got that hero figured out. I think it really comes to the other core components of triple or 3-tank free support. I think Gesture's been a little bit off. Their Zarya play is not exactly where it needs to be, and those things go hand in hand. If Gesture doesn't trust that he's going to get shielded by a Zarya, he's got to play different. The bubbles are they've been inconsistent from Bird Ring, so they've got the talent. Everyone knows that. It's indisputable. But can they adapt to this metagame?
It's almost a shame to see Prophet relegated to the Brigida role, just because you kind of want to see him on Zarya, because Zarya is basically a tank DPS. The amount of damage you can bring to the table to Zarya with a good Zarya, that's where a lot of your damage is coming from in these rosters and these comps. So to see Prophet kind of be on a hero, it's like, okay, yes, you get some impact with crowd control, but you're not really there to just gimp somebody.
Well, I would like to see them experiment a little bit with some more dive tanks and goats in the 3-3 meta. Rather, these here are the maps we're going to head to, presented by Toyota. We're going to kick it off on Busan, which has quickly become a fan favorite map, one of my favorite maps, largely because you can see a whole lot of different wacky stuff, actual damage dealing heroes being played.
Crazy thought, Hex.
Who would have thunk it?
Crazy thought. It's also a beautiful map. You got to put it out there. Props to the devs. They did sick work on this map. And so it's a great one to kick off this series on best of 5 format. So we're looking for the first team to win 3, and we're going to be kicking things off on Control, on Busan. And yes, we do get to see more of a variety of strategies on this map. Some of the damage dealers get thrown in here. We've seen 3 DPS. We've seen all sorts of different plays. So it's going to be fun to see what these two teams have in store for us now.
You see 3 deep damage-dealing heroes. It's essentially has come down to there's a lot of Ana, some Tracer play comes in, you run a Hammond as well, and then a Sombra. So a lot of teams have been going with that mix-up in their composition, but let's just get right into it. London, I think, needs to start off quick. This team plays the best when they're playing loose, and we saw that evidence last year as they went into the playoffs very loose and took it by storm. So I think they need to come off to a quick start, because conversely, they start off poorly, that could get in their heads a little bit. Like I said, I think this is a must-win match for the London Spitfire.
Well, I'm down with this opening strat if they stick to it, London. Yes, please. Let's see this actually go through. The Sombra, the Tracer, the Widow would be sick. And it's looking like they are... Nope, they're going to go for a last-minute change here. They're going to have the Pharah out on the damage as well. So we'll get some rockets flying high. There is quite a bit of high ground here to manipulate if you are a Pharah up in the skies. And so we'll see if Prophet can find something there. It looks like Washington Justice is going to be running a bit more of a tank-heavy lineup.
It's a great map for Widowmakers, too, and we have a Widow on both sides of things. We'll see who gets the better of that one. Washington's going to take first control onto the point, at least stepping on it, putting some progress going. And Spitfire just going to give it up. They don't even want to fight that. Not a single shot fired in that exchange.
Just chilling out until the slam comes through. Jester, you didn't catch him, though. Not going to work for him. He gets picked, but we lose Corey to Doshin. Doshin, though, not a guy, you can't sleep on him. On Zenyatta, you know, Jonak obviously gets a lot of talk, but Doshin is definitely one of the top Zenyatas in this league.
Definitely a good player. It was interesting that where the Justice are hanging out, it's kind of to prevent that Hammond Slam. Hammond Slam will knock you up in the air, and then you want your damage dealers to finish them off, but they're sitting in that tiny little alcove there, not knocked up in the sky, not jumped into sightline. So they go for it again. Now some disruption comes from Gesture.
Yeah, well played on Gesture's part. Manages to pick them out. Put them out in the open. Nice stun there onto Prophet. He does manage to recall out right into the waiting arms of Corey. Corey's going to be in a bit of a tough spot, though, and Fury will be the one to find the kill. Both the Tracer and the Sombra, that is key when you're running this duo together. They need to work together to pick off these squishies. That's exactly what we saw here. So London right now still trying to take the fight to him. 50% down the point for Washington Justice, though. It's on London now to try and figure it out.
London was a little bit split up, and Washington did a good job of identifying that. There was a trio of people to the right-hand side. They brought everybody over there, started eliminating threats, and now they're pushing them all the way back. It's been the Justice all the way in this first stage here on Busan, 70% and counting. London hasn't done a whole lot. There actually haven't been a whole lot of kills on either side. Only 4 deaths this whole map.
4 deaths, very low. Birdring going to go for a change of strategy here. We will get the Reaper in play. I mean, this was going into it, Hex. You know, a little bit of talk here, how this is a must-win for London. It's just, you know, Washington did not look so hot kicking off their first match in the league. If London go down to them, that's going to be huge. But we're at the beginning of this series, so London, plenty of time for them to catch up. A lot of changes in the heroes, though, which means that they aren't going to have many ults to work with. Janus going to find 2 kills to kick things off. Birdring and Nuss dead already. So what do they actually have to work with here, London? They do manage to come in, find the kills, 4 kills right there based off the EMP thrown in by Fury. And London in position to take advantage of it, but it's at 99% for Washington.
Well, Janus was on a different roster last year, along with the coach for this Washington Justice team. And when they had to play London as part of the NYXL, they actually had a very good record against them. I believe they were about 500, 6-7, I think was their overall score against them. So Janus and Wizard, the coach, do know London well, so they should be familiar here. Janus has a Shatter ready to go.
And this is going to be the big high-impact ultimate. Doshin is holding on to his trance, though, so it's a question of where Doshin is going to be positioned. He's out of the angle right now. Janus wants to get on top of him, but it's not looking like it's going to happen. Rally used here by Otto to ferry them forward, and Prophet gets overwhelmed immediately. Great focus fire coming out here from Washington. That's a lot of passive healing and control that gets thrown out the window here for Spitfire.
Just going to slow walk onto the point, have Shatter ready to go at 99%. They're going to flip it over. Desperation time for London to get back on the point and touch. They've got the heroes to do it.
London looking so shaky right now. Trance going to get thrown in here by Doshin. Not going to be used to cancel out anything. The sound barrier thrown in by Phasix as well. So right now, Washington, a tough nut to crack, and Phasix is going to find the kill on Birdring somehow. We will lose Gesture as well, and this is looking great for the Justice. Set to take it, although Prophet will be able to touch, delaying it just a little bit further, but that will be it, and the Justice taking the first point.
You said they looked a little bit shaky. I would say they looked a little bit sluggish, just slow and a little bit passive, but we'll see if they can bring something different on the next round of Busan after the break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from the short break, and we're going to get back into it here. London looking a little sluggish, a little uncoordinated going into this. Not really sure what they want to stick to. I think we saw Prophet change heroes 4 times on that first point. That's not allowing you to get up to ult. That's not allowing you to have those high-impact abilities. And so right now, London just looking a little lost as to how to deal with Washington or throwing at them. Washington going back to the core of the current meta. It's going to be that 3-3.
Well, London is running the composition a lot of teams are running on this stage. That 6 heroes up top has been what a lot of teams prefer. And right there, you see Bdoshin get a nice opening kill onto Guido there. And they should be able to take point on this. What was so interesting about how London played last time, they didn't even touch the point or contest early on. It just seemed like a bad sign. And I know they're trying to set up a plan and positioning, but Washington seemed like they were ready for that plan, ready for that positioning.
Right now, Justice, clearly the name of the game for them is sticking together and forming that death ball. They're just going to roll in. Waiting to get back together with Guido. Guido is back into it now, and so we have all 6 alive for Washington, and they're going to start trying to work their way down to the point.
Oh, looks like a slow push here. You don't want to peek out and give sight lines to the Widowmaker. 1 click, and you can lose a support hero rather easily. That's why you see Guido just right in the back pocket of his Reinhardt.
Doesn't want to be moving. Now he's found a wall to hide behind. Of course, the wall disappears. He will survive just a little while longer, though. No worries there. Gesture with a little nudge, and we do get Sansam getting demeched here, so we no longer have the Big Mech Diva in play. Birdring doing great work right now, finding that damage, gets the body shot. That's not going to be enough to find the kill, however. And from on high here, plenty of angles for him to work with.
especially when you're able to get the D.Va out of mech. Now, who's ever going to be able to contest Birdring? You need mobile tanks generally to be able to get up there in this kind of composition, and without a D.Va, he's going to be able to get around and zip to whatever angle he wants.
They're not the easiest position. Eventually, however, no, under pressure, and yes, Corey will find the kill on Birdring, but he loses half of his team in the process. Washington Justice getting pummeled here on the second point. Looking very good for him now, and they have a couple of ults coming online as well. We'll have the boost from Doshin, as well as the pulse bomb from Prophet. Looking to see if Prophet, he's shaking the rust off, gets to play Tracer again. Magical things happen, Hex.
One of the things we talk about in 3 tank, 3 support is how it does end up being snowball-y. So when they start getting these ultimates online, they're better ultimates generally than DPS ultimates are. Graviton and Earthshatter are simply better than Pulse Bomb.
Get it into it, Pulse in, not going to find a target though. We have the sound barrier thrown in here. Washington Justice now looking to lock this down. 93% and counting for the London Spitfire, and Washington will succeed in flipping the point off the back of a couple of kills. And so Washington now the ones with the advantage, at least the edge, and they did a decent job of holding onto ults. They'll have Shatter soon as well as Trance, and Samsam isn't too far away from his self-destruct either, so they will have tools here to make use of.
A nice finish, a late kill on a Bidoshin means it's going to be even longer before the Spitfire at full fighting force. Some pressure on the point, but it's not going to matter. D.Va gets back there. And I think Corey, we mentioned, was a bright spot for this. Hold on, huge EMP goes off.
What fantastic D-Matrix, though, coming through. Guido going to survive just a while longer thanks to his D.Va's defense. And that's going to slow things down just a little bit here for London Spitfire. Good heals going out onto Samsam. He's going to throw in the self-destruct as well right on the point. Will clear it out, but Birdring does manage to kill off the baby D.Va. So no D.Va in play now for Washington Justice. Yanis decides to throw his Earthshatter in, though.
It's a great shot. Such a small window when the D.Va self-destructs where she's vulnerable before she can call down a new mech. And Birdring starting to become the Birdring we knew last season.
There we go. On the Widow. This is what we expect to see from him, hitting shot after shot. And now they're going to find it difficult here, Washington Justice, to get outside onto the point. Yanis had to go for the Hammond, rolls his way back into the fight that much quicker, and now it's all about just contesting. 99% for London Spitfire. All they have to do is hold. Washington Justice need to touch the point. They're not going to do it in time. London Spitfire bringing it back, tying it up 1-1.
Who would have thought that London is a much better team when they get to run those highly mechanical, highly skilled kind of heroes? You get Prophet on his Tracer, Birdring on his Widow, shades of London in the past.
Crazy thought. And Fury doing a good job here on the Sombra as well. A couple of high-value EMPs coming through to really make the difference for his team. So we're going the distance on the first map in this series. It will be on the third point that it all gets settled. And who's going to take the lead? London now looking, like they're coming into their own. Perhaps just shaking it off a little bit, getting that adrenaline from being on the stage out of your system.
Yeah, because they looked just not like London. If you had different skins on or different uniforms on during that first stage, you would not have ever guessed that was the London Spitfire. Just very passive, not coordinating well. But now we're going to see how this final stage of Busan goes to see who takes the first map.
Just a lone hamster and a big tank. That's what's going on here for London. They're still focusing on the DPS, on the damage dealers. I like it. Washington Justice sticking to their guns. Corey is back on the Widow.
Well, they've got great scouting information. The Sombra is behind the entirety of the Washington Justice right now. Washington going to step outside the point. That's exactly what they were waiting for. Birdring finds his opportunity, takes down his opposing number.
And there's the contest coming through at the last possible instant, delaying things further here for Washington Justice. Birdring, nobody there to challenge him, and so he gets to take shot after shot. There's the headshot. Will get the D-Mech on Samsam. So now Birdring really just moving forward, looking for some of that close quarters combat. Not quite going to find that shot, though, and it's looking like the Washington Justice will be the first ones to pick up the point. And with the support there and Janus to hide behind, they're looking good.
Able to knock him off of the point there. First control, counting up now percentage-wise. Fury's behind them again. Again, this is scouting information. Birdring's always going to know where Corey is because they're going to have the Sombra to scout it. On the other side, there's a Brigida, so you have less info.
Solid start so far. London looking to find an opening. Not quite managing, however. Corey hanging around and back is going to get pressured here by Gesture. Has to back off or at least get some support from his teammates, and Phasix will be Johnny on the spot there, watching out for his snipers back.
EMP is ready. I think they're going to try to set up the next fight based on this. You can EMP and Pulse Bomb, try to get a chunk of damage in. Now they're all grouped up. EMP comes off, grabs a bunch.
Ooh, beautiful. No D-Matrix there. No dodge on Samsam's part, so he's not going to be able to keep his team alive. And just like that, 2 big kills, 3 big kills coming through for the London Spitfire, and the Washington Justice now falling apart one after another. Do have Sato, or Addo rather, trying to put up a fight Nearly gets the rally. He has that online for the next one. So Washington right now should be feeling fairly comfortable.
Birdring is just such a marvelous talent. He's hitting 50% of his scoped shots, 20% critical hit accuracy. 1 out of 5 shots is a headshot that puts so much damage on the other side. And I love his target selection. He's taking out the only things that can ever pressure him. First it was the D.Va, and now you've got him taking out his opposing Widow.
Nice play with the mines right over the top. Jester finding the first kill to kick things off. Looking for the follow-up as well. He got nanoed into that, it looks like, as well. Doshan able to get that off in time. We do have Guido trading it back, however, and Washington, despite it all, not throwing in the ults. So now they're the ones who have a significant advantage going into the next fight, and London Spitfire haven't even tied it up on percentage yet.
I want to keep an eye on the main tank, Giannis, see if he can get one of those shatters. We do see switches from the other side. London going into a tank-heavier composition. They're going to give up control until they get the pieces in place that they want. But now with the late switches, you're always going to be behind on ultimate advantage.
And they gave it up without forcing anything out of Washington. Now Washington still have all these ults online. There's going to be the angle. Janus getting in behind, looking for it, but the sound barrier comes out in time from Phazix. Will deny it. Guido gets immediately picked off by Prophet, though, and the kills coming through now for London. Despite it all, Washington just getting overwhelmed.
They made the right choice to switch up their composition. It seems they're still allowing Fury to run wild on this Sombra. Very nice plays from him. And now Washington used a couple of their ultimate abilities. They're going to have support ultimates, though, and at 80% generally on control, we think about that as one more fight. But London wants to hold close, maybe use some ultimates early, and then delay the capture if they lose and be able to come back. So they're trying to force something out by holding that far forward.
Straight onto the point, though. Washington getting boosted in. Self-destruct over the wall. Gonna find a target. Yep, Nuss can't get out of harm's way. Phazix is there. Phazix gets the kill on Reinhardt. Turns out, you know, sizes and everything. Just moves on in. Birdring gonna get focused down. No more energy for him. And right now, Washington Justice have got control of the point, 10% away from a big win to kick off this series.
Yeah, Sansam is just looking for the Sombra in the back line. He knows that's the only way they'd be able to touch. But they're off of the Sombra anyway, have been. And now, last fight incoming. Last chance for London to take this opening map.
Nice touch by Fury. Nick of time makes it. And now they're going to go ahead straight in, streaming in one after another. Great focus fire coming through here, applying maximum pressure to Gesture. He will be able to back off in time, however. The rally thrown in by Prophet. But Guido's going to cancel that out with a trance of his own, trying to buy time for his teammates to get those support ultimates online. And now it's just a standoff. Who's going to crack first?
That's Birdring's time to shine. He's going to get that grab on several words of follow-up there. It is not quite there. This is reminiscent of how London lost fights earlier. Just no follow-up on their big ultimates. Fury's gonna actually toss it in and eats. Actually, Fury eats Corey's grab. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's big. Grab gets eaten for the Justice, so no big follow-up there. But Janus has still got his trance. But he's got the shatter as well. Throws that out. Doesn't find a target. Doshan already had the trance going, so he doesn't care. He's keeping everybody topped up. Self-destruct thrown over the top, and it could find one. No, the shield is up for Janus. And this is just still the standoff between both of these teams. But London, with that sound barrier, looking to end this fight.
Got
Shatter.
such sustain. There's no one is dying anywhere on this. Birdring's got another grab, the second into the fight. Gonna catch several again. Follow-up still not quite there. Transcendence able to keep him alive. And now finally someone dies, and it happens to be Prophet.
Ooh, the big wipeout. Washington, they held it for so long. The win is instant. And Washington Justice take the lead over the London Spitfire in this series. 1-0 the lead. We're taking a break, and when we come back, we'll find out, can the London Spitfire recover?
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back from the break, everybody. We're live here from Los Angeles in the Blizzard Arena. Washington have done it. They've got the strong start that they were looking for, but London now, I mean, the fear that they've got to be feeling, they're the team with something to lose. They are the champions from last season, and they are off to a very rough start this season, Hex.
They're one shot away from going down in flames in that Spitfire plane right now. I mean, that was looking rough. A lot of people didn't think Washington was very good, but I think it's very difficult with a small sample size, and they lost to NYXL, who are still a very, very solid team. So, but like I said, this is must win for London, period, straight up. If you want to get in the stage playoffs, you can't start 0-3. Not with the schedule London has, not with the play that they're putting on display right now.
Despite all of their talent on this team, I mean, it's not like they're the team that went for big roster changes. They pretty much stayed the same. I mean, we're still seeing some of the big stars, Prophet, Birdring, Gesture. These guys are still in the mix. We're just not quite seeing them gel right now in this current situation in terms of strategy that the teams are using. Big, beefy targets, not a lot of mechanically demanding heroes that really these players shine on, the likes of Birdring. And there we go, already a sub coming through. We have Guard who's subbing in for Birdring. So could this be the change?
Well, I think Guard plays pretty well with this team, but I also think at this point it's just like, let's try something.
Yeah.
It may have been part of their plan, may have been part predetermined. You're playing map 2 no matter what. However, I think Birdring has not been playing very well on the Zarya, and I think at some point you have to make a change. You can't go down 0-3, period. So you have to start making swap outs. I think this is probably planned. Guard has, played well before, so.
Sure, it's just curious to see. I mean, I'm wondering right now the level from Birdring, because we did see last season, they had some issues where motivation issues, depression, etc. for Birdring, where he was struggling with the hours. I mean, it is very demanding to be a pro player in the Overwatch League.
He also had an injury, which didn't help with along those lines. But I mean, his Widow still looked very good when you can play Widow, but they got off of it pretty quick.
It's going to, I mean, it's probably just knowing when to go for the changes. First point was a disaster as far as London are concerned. They were swapping heroes in and out. It didn't really look like they knew what they wanted to stick with.
Right.
They're never getting those ults online, so they can never really take those big fights. Washington looked solid. Washington, however, just kind of sticking to their guns. It seems like, this is our strategy. We're just sticking with our strategy. Everything's groovy.
Yeah.
Everybody stay together.
And Washington's always going to have a little bit of wiggle room from their fan base, etc. too. Like, hey, you guys just got in the league. Let's see how it goes. Let's go together. I mean, you're not the returning champions here. So we're going to head to Numbani next. And, it's tank-heavy map. We'll see. You're kind of forced to play the dive tanks on this map because of the high ground here, especially on first point. Yeah. Not necessarily the best Widow map either, especially on offense. So we'll see how it goes, but again, this was just, it's a nightmare scenario so far for London because they lost the first map. I mentioned this, a team that's, I think it's, I don't want to say fragile, but emotionally driven. When things start going well for them and they can play loose and fast and they're having fun, you saw it. It took them all the way to the championships. They weren't playing well going into the playoffs last year, and then they decided, you know what, it's been a good run. We've had a good time. Oh, we're winning games. Oh, this is fun. It's fun winning games. Took it all the way to the Barclays and won it all.
Yeah, Prophet's smile, that's what it's all about. That guy, he's just like, how does a guy who looks so harmless and sweet and nice just turn into such a monster in the server? I don't get it, just killing everything.
Yeah, he's
beast.
He's something to behold, but right now, I mean, it's the entire team dynamic of London, and I fear for them if they do end up going 0-3. It's what do you do to turn it around?
That's the real question that the coaching staff right now have got to be asking themselves, and we'll see if our insiders can get any kind of insight into what's going on behind the lines there. But the coaches, I mean, the players, it's one thing, but you as the coach, you're trying to figure out how do I get the best out of my players. And right now, it's like we're seeing individual plays, but they need to start gelling as a unit here. Washington doing a better job of that with that death ball approach. I mean, it's very clear. Washington just like, just stick together. Everybody stay together and we'll be fine. We'll bear out eventually.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't look bad. It's just still hard to gauge. Is London playing poorly? Is Washington playing well? Is it a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B? But hey, we were talking all this gloom and doom about the London Spitfire, and it's not quite as gloomy as the weather usually is in London. They still have a chance to pull this one out. We're only going to map 2. Maybe they can bring it back together. And now you're bringing Guard in so that Prophet can move over to the Zarya. Interesting play here.
There we go. That's what I want to see. Is Prophet going to be feeling a bit more confident on the Zarya? The Zarya, once you get that high energy, you start melting everybody. And we have seen this as a bit of a trend. You get your Tracer play over to Zarya, tracking in terms of aim, kind of similar. So we'll see if he's got the power that it takes to control the LG. Are we getting into it, though? Yes, we are. London going to be starting off on the defense. Washington Justice going to be starting off on the offense. And it's looking like Washington are going to be sticking to their guns. Corey will be on the Zarya. No Widow play here to start things off on Numbani, but it will be the big beef.
Okay. Given what the offense wants to run, I'd imagine they're going to try to take the staircase right here. You don't want to walk up Broad Street and be wide open for any sort of incoming damage. Get free damage in. The first allied shield goes on and Reinhardt trying to build up that charge on Zarya. The damage done on the shield equates to damage Zarya can do in return.
There's a choke point. How are they going to get through? Just run right in. Why not? Massive cleave coming through here from Gesture, nearly halfway to his ultimate already. Just so much damage, and that is going to grind this push to a halt. Washington Justice rebuffed. They have to back off.
I thought this might be an adjustment that they make too, that you let Gesture run on his Winston, which I think has been very good for him in the past. Seems a little more comfortable with it. Gesture and Fury together on highly mobile, vertical, what we call dive tanks has been very good. And we've seen 3 tank, 3 support work with this kind of composition. It's just a variation. Philadelphia runs it very well. In fact, Philadelphia beat London with this composition.
And Gesture seen as one of the best Winstons in the league, so definitely going to be feeling it now. Washington Justice are going to be the ones left wondering, okay, what went wrong there? How do we figure this out? Because, again, they're going to the same point by the looks of things, right back up onto the high ground here through the choke point. Janus out front with the shield, Corey ready to back him up, and once again, round 2, charging straight in, and now you got an angry monkey on your hands. Gesture can just cut this team in half and knock them out of position. Yep, sure enough, Gesture going to be the one to kick things off with a kill on Janus. But the focus fire right now from London Spitfire, they're just pummeling. Either it's going to be Guido or it's going to be Janus. One or the other is going to die, and then the rest of the team follows. A
momentum-based composition indeed, because Gesture did so much cleave damage early on in the Winston, already had his Primal Rage up. It's a tough spot to push into Primal Rage, because if you're stuck in the stairwell, You're getting batted down the wall. If you push past the stairwell, you're getting batted off the edge. Well, third time's a charm, definition of insanity trying to go here as they try to build up some ultimate percentage. Corey is very close to Graviton.
There's a lot to deal with this grab, though. But, oh, he gets to eat. No, what? Samsam eats something.
Yeah, SZA ate a sound barrier? I think a little glitch in this matrix right there, though, as it showed up in our kill feed. Very strange. But right now, this is the rotation that Washington wants to make onto the point. They're going to take the low ground, force London down.
Sound barriers getting thrown in. London going to be tough ones to crack, but now they actually have managed to get onto the point. Washington Justice can group up together as a unit, and this is where they tend to shine. We saw it on the first map. Guard going to find the kill on Otto to kick things off. They need to trade this back quickly, and they are trying to focus down Guard on the London Spitfire, but he will survive for now. Corey just going in. Self-destruct combo, point blank takes down Prophet, but the kills are coming through here for London as well. Does look like they might have to back off, though, or at least try to stall. Fury and Nuss trying to work together as a duo.
Oh, very nice spot out by Janus there. He finds the lone Zenyatta. It was 3-3, but segmented off. And with that last kill, they will force London off the point, and the Washington Justice will prevail. It's a nice setup, a nice execution. They finally got through the top and then took the low ground away. There's not a whole lot that you can do from the high ground, especially if you knock the opposing Zarya off.
All right, now we begin the long approach here for Washington Justice. London looking to take the fight again early. Don't want to let there get to be too much progress here made by Justice. You fight him early so you can fight him again later if you happen to lose the fight, or you just go ahead and force him back and spawn camp him. We've seen it all here on this map. It's been one of the core since the beginning of the league. So Otto, from his perspective, going in for the stun. There you go. Gesture gets deleted right on through. And Washington now with nothing to stop him. They're trying to get a stagger. They're trying to follow up with another kill, but got to remember, payload. Can't leave the payload alone. Get 3 bodies on it and get moving just that much faster.
Yeah, Otto, of course, a familiar Overwatch League veteran, came up with Shanghai Dragons last year as a late addition. So this Washington, D.C. roster is a nice mix of the old and the new, and it's just going to take them a moment to gel together. There's talent on this team.
Rally thrown in now by the man in question, Otto. Trying to get that armor up, but we will have a counter thrown in. Self-destruct finds nothing. Nuss is going to take down Corey, though. So once again, London Spitfire starting off strong. Not going to discount it, however, because the last time this happened, Washington were able to turn it around, but it's looked like they're split up, and London not willing to overextend, just going to go ahead and kick them back.
It's fine to retreat. I believe they got that point and 0 meters left to go. I thought I heard the horn, so they're just going to back up.
Which is odd. Yeah. How did that happen in all of that mix, seeing as how London did manage to contest? Focus has got to be on the payload at all times. Kills are great, stats are nice, but that's just fluff compared to what you need to get done. Prophet kicks things off, melts Corey before he can get any energy up. And so Prophet, now you can see the number in the middle of the screen there. The higher that gets, the more damage Prophet deals.
The Shatter got blocked as well, and I wonder if it's just a matter of if Gesture is more comfortable with Prophet on his side as well, knowing he's going to get bubbles at the right time. So Prophet Zarya seems to have been a nice improvement over what we saw Birdring in his first couple matches. Remains to be seen. An interesting angle taken on approach by Washington here.
Straight on through, but there's the grab. Fury finds Phasix already. AoE healing not going to be in, and they are just going to get picked off one after another here on the Washington side. Corey does manage to back off at least a little while longer, but he will go down as well. And just like that, London Spitfire setting up a strong defense here on the second point. 2 minutes on the clock here for Washington.
Yeah, the Zarya matchup has so far gone in favor of Prophet. More average energy at 54% to 45%, and more Graviton Surge kills as well.
Now Corey, now he's alive. That means that he can use the grab. There it is, right into it. Self-destruct, straight over the top. Not going to find the angle, though. Yanis with the shield does manage to get in here into the thick of things once again. The Shatter gets thrown out. Doshin focused. Are they going to find the kill on him? Yes, he goes down. Addo there with the kill on him. And this is going to be setting it up now for the Justice. They've got that man advantage. Never mind.
Swings back the other way with a nice Graviton Surge. Again, Prophet just adding to his numbers. 4 kills come from that Graviton Surge. And now they're still holding yet again, despite both supports being stunned in the prior Earth Shatter. They only picked up 1 and a nice swing back here.
Well, I'm glad we get to see the London players right now, the perspective from them, because there's a lot of grins going around. Doshin and Guard. Doshin always looks happy. He always looks good. He seems to be a really positive player for the team. But Guard with a bit of a chuckle. Seems like London is starting to feel it now. 60 seconds on the clock for Washington, and they're changing it up. Wrapping around the building, quick rotation coming through here from London Spitfire to get in position, and yep, sure enough, Gesture gonna get that wall up in time. So now, once again, we go into the standoff.
And they can just play this very patiently, too. They can use their ultimates reactionarily. Knocked down, though. Gesture dies with Earth Shatter up. They wanted to use that. They're going to throw the rally in there, too. Justice with their last best chance here.
Great focus fire there from Washington. Managing to pick off Gesture before he can get into it. Trance is used, however, from Washington, so that's going to be keeping him healthy. Fury out of mech. Doshin dead as well. And this is big, but now you can't afford to lose, Washington. You've got 20 seconds to push it as far as you can, this payload. You got a long way to go.
It's a long way to go, but you know what makes the payload push a little easier is you got all those check marks on your side.
Yes.
Several ultimate abilities up for the Washington Justice. Tank ultimates, support ultimates, the only one missing Transcendence. So it's going to be a battle of ultimate efficiency going forward as they have to face off against Gesture and Prophet, who've got their own abilities ready.
It looks like the rally is going to get thrown in as well. Corey, full energy, trying to find the opening here for the grab. It's going to be grab B, grab the D-Matrix, though he's got to be careful, does not want to get this fed, and that's going to cost him the hesitation, the delay with the trance thrown in from Bdoshin. Everybody on Spitfire is surviving, and this is surely going to be a one fight for them. No hesitation on the Spitfire side, using all the ults. I do like the focus, however, from Sam. Looked like Guido was able to get in there as well, or Phasix, but it's not going to happen. They are gone. 2 points and some progress here for the Washington Justice on Numbani. We're going to be taking a short break, and when we come back, we'll find out what they're capable of on the defense. So all throughout that defense there for London Spitfire, they looked solid, they started strong, but every time right towards the end where it starts getting towards the finish line for Washington, they get all this progress, or they get the point. London somehow crack, and they aren't able to just get that hard lock going on the defense. So curious to see for London, you know, are they starting to find themselves, or is there still a little bit of that weakness that we were wondering about going into this match?
It's just Prophet's old consistency too, and I think it's not necessarily Birdring's fault. We've seen a lot of DPS players, damage dealing players, of a certain type called tracking aiming. It's kind of like a paintbrush. You're following something, and that's what Tracers have to do, and that's what Zarya has to do. The opposite end of things is Widowmaker players, what we call flick aim, where you're moving from one target to another target very quickly, which as Zarya, actually not very helpful.
No, you're trying to lead with the grenades, and you're trying to, well, track with the beam, you're right. So that does play a bit more into Prophet's wheelhouse. We have seen him with a solid Zarya performance so far. Washington Justice can't be too happy about that. Well, I mean, I say that, but then again, they nearly managed to push that payload all the way to the 3rd point. So all things considered, Justice should be looking all right.
Maybe a few mistakes at the end. I think if Soundberry comes out a little quicker, you're in better pace, but you got to forget about it and move on as a young team.
Well, I'm liking this from Guard already, just leaping into the back line, trying to cut it up here on Washington, and Washington just going to give ground. High ground now obtained. We did get a D-make on Fury, though, so that's going to slow things down just a little bit for London. They don't have that D-matrix to fall back on. And sure enough, because of that, Janus going to go ahead leaping up to the top. A little bit of a poke, a little bit of a hello.
This is the kind of versatility Guard gives you. They're running 4 tanks and 2 supports here. That's why you're going to see Bdoshin on the Moira. They simply need the healing output of it. No Bagrita in this mix.
Well, somehow we have a baby diva taking down a mech diva. Sansam, however, he's so quick to generate this ult, he's going to be right back into his mech, so no problems there. And the big kills coming through. The combo works out with Corey and Janus working together. All the kills here for the Justice, and they slammed the door on London Spitfire. Not a single tick of progress picked up here for London.
Okay, Bdoshin is going to get off of the Moira onto the Zenyatta because I think they understood there that no one was really dying with the 4 tanks. Tanks are great at absorbing damage and outputting damage with giant abilities, but not so much in a straight-up fight. Now, you've got a Zenyatta to add the Orb of Discord into the mix, which makes people take extra damage.
Exactly, so you can actually start to put some hurt on these big, beefy targets. They have so much health, 30% additional damage with the Discord Orb. That does make a difference. So let's see if Bdoshin's going to be able to capitalize, and if the Focus Fire will be there for London Spitfire to take advantage of that valuable ability. Already a little bit of a wrap here coming up, changing up the high ground positioning.
This is great because now you've got Prophet Zarya on the high ground, and you can use the alternate fire to just rain grenades from above. The beam tracking is really important to do a lot of sustained damage, but those things, when you're charged up, can hit like a truck.
Okay, now I think you've seen all the balconies, London. It's time to get in here. There we go, throwing in the grab to kick things off with this fight. Self-destruct going to get thrown in by Fury as well. Not going to find a target, though. Guido doesn't care. He's got the trance. He's in vuln while that ult is going. And so London, they've got a presence on the point, but right now Washington are doing a very good job of just keeping a body on the point. Sansam is there to contest, and they're not really giving up any big kills. 1 tick nearly picked up, contested at the last second by Phasix, but it will go London's way. So 1 tick picked up, self-destruct thrown in, just a bit too far it seems, but the sound barrier was there, thrown in by Nuss to keep his teammates alive. And now the contest comes out for real here for Washington, and let's see, did they find somebody out of position? They throw themselves into the fight bodily, but the trance are going to go up for both Zenyatas, keeping their teammates alive.
Yeah, Janus went in deep there knowing that he was going to do enough damage to get this Primal Rage up. Still no one dying, now just bashing people in the grav. And a nice eat on the Graviton of Prophet. Sansam has been the unsung hero. He's had a lot of big, small plays, I'd call them.
Yeah, oh, that damage from Prophet, not going to get away, but Corey trades it, takes down Nuss. So, you're right, that is huge. That might have turned it here because now London, they've only got 40 seconds on the clock, and it's a long run back from spawn. They got a lot of ground to cover here, London, and it needs to be a perfect fight for them coming into it. Doshin's nearly got the trance, so they'll have that support ultimate online, and Jester's nearly got his shatter. That's a fight-changing ultimate. Can they tie the two together and find success here on point A, or Washington Justice going to take a 2-map lead over the defending champs of Overwatch League?
A nice little disruption play there from Janus. He was hiding, then jumps up, gets the allied shield, goes in, but the first kill will go on to Janus. Finds himself all alone, and look at the energy here from Prophet, just beaming down fools.
Melts them, and at the very end, it will be the Washington Justice getting overwhelmed. London Spitfire finds success eventually. 2.5 minutes on the clock now to see how far they can get this payload. Washington, though, shake it off. You did a great job. They don't have a whole lot of time here, London. He's done a great job so far. Now it's about just keeping focused, and you have quite a few ults coming online here for the next fight as well. So you could look to take that early and really just crank up the pressure on London.
That might be what the veteran leadership of this Washington team can bring. Recognize victories. Yeah, we lost the point, but it was a better defense than London, so recognize you're still ahead.
And you're still solid right now. Self-destruct. Thrown into the back, not going to find a target. Jester had his shield up at the focus fire coming in. Addo going to be able to find the kill on Jester, so no Rein to hide behind here for London. They're going to have to back off and wait for Jester to get back into this fight. Just like that, it turns. London, valuable time bleeding off the clock.
All the way back. There's another great stall ultimate available if they just want to send Janus straight in there. Start knocking people around with Primal Rage. Corey's got a Graviton ready too.
Just like that, Janus gonna go leaping in. The focus fire though, he nearly goes down. They're gonna be able to melt him. Prophet not letting go of that one. Janus gets punished for going in too deep. He's gone. And there it is, the opening that London were waiting so patiently for. Janus provided the start, and they managed to get the finish. London will win this fight. And now we'll start seeing them actually get this payload a bit closer to that second point. 1 minute on the clock for them to win.
A full team killed, and that's such a big swing play because in Primal Rage, Winston immediately goes up to 1,000 HP.
Yeah.
When you're doing all that damage, that's charging your ultimates on the London Spitfire. That's 1,000 HP just donated into the ultimate bank of the Spitfire.
He even had the sound barrier. He even got sound barriered at the end, and they still melted through that. Brutal damage coming through here from London. But Prophet doing a good job of maintaining that energy. Needs to hop up to 100 here so he can really start melting them. Sensam gonna have to back off. And Prophet, point blank, there's the grab right on through. Self-destruct coming in from Fury, right over the top, and this time it works. Sound barrier and Trance both go in, but they're a second too late.
This should be a one fight for the Spitfire, and they will get that second point, and thus an extension on their time bank. 1:45 on the clock remains. London's going to chase this down, see if they can get anyone late. They do just that. I'm going to put a couple people back onto the payload so that it starts making progress.
Yeah,
little yellow marker on our little line in the middle is where they got to go, or easier to follow, the big box on the ground.
The big box of victory. And Gesture, guess what he's doing? Guess what he's doing? Nobody knows that he's here. Oh, he could have just hung around, but it looks like they didn't want to commit to this Washington, perhaps because they didn't see him. They didn't know where he was going for. He was trying to go for the surprise shatter. Instead, it's going to be point blank. No subtlety here. Right through the front. Gesture hanging on, and he does get overwhelmed in the end. Sensam, with the help of his team, finding the kill, and once again, Gesture, the man to go down first here for London Spitfire with a minute on the clock for London.
That's really tough. That was through rally as well. So we'll see what they have going for him next. It's the same scenario. They've got an Earth Shatter. They've got a Graviton Surge. I kind of want to keep an eye on Sansam here, see if he can eat yet another Grav.
It's a hard life for these Rhine players, Hex. Always the center of attention, you know, at a party, that's great, you know, but in a game of Overwatch, that's not as pleasant. Gesture, and it's just getting run over. Prophet on the angle. We will have the self-destruct. The stun as well, but Prophet gets his bubble off in the nick of time. He barely survives it. Sound barrier thrown in by Phazix now to keep his teammates up. And right now, it's all about buying more time. 20 seconds on the clock for London. Shatter thrown in, not going to find anything. Trance cancel, or just, it baits the Trance at least, but then that also leads to the kill. Corey going to take advantage of it, push forward and find Doshin.
A nice rotation by Guido to keep his own Zarya alive, and they find themselves fighting in a room. All the kills coming in favor of the Washington Justice. Only 3 alive here. Grav's going to clean up the last 2. It's just Prophet remaining.
And this is it. Washington will take the lead 2-0 over the London Spitfire, the defending champs from the first season of Overwatch, or the season 2018 of Overwatch League. Washington, they're 1 map away from a huge win for them.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile. High ground or low ground, T-Mobile has you covered. And by State Farm. Whatever life brings your way, State Farm is here to help life go right.